Hey, welcome back to your favorite podcast, Don't Knock Out That Wall. On behalf of myself and Brandon, we would like to thank you all for tuning in and watching this year. We've had a lot of fun with this, and we're definitely not running out of material. That's a sure thing. There's always something to DIY, and quite frankly, there are plenty of people out there that still don't know not to knock out that wall. And that's where we come in. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, you're going to get to see something special. Today, I'm going to show you the origin story. You're going to get to see the genesis of Don't Knock Out That Wall. That's right. I'm going to show the video footage of our first ever Zoom call. Yay! Right? It's exciting, right? I mean, everything has its origin story, and this one is, you're just going to get to see us swinging for the fences, right? You're just to see just no plan whatsoever. That's not true. We actually did have a plan. In fact, if you're doing DIY, you should always have a plan. You should always measure twice before you cut. You should always make sure that you know your code. Right? Make sure you have the correct permits. Make sure that you know the load-bearing walls before you do anything to a wall. Don't knock it out, right? I don't. Anyway, I'm just kind of winging it here like I normally do. I don't like to write scripts, and I should. I really should, but I'm not. I'm going to jump out of frame. Also, one more thing. Before we get started, I do have a couple of DIY in a day things around the house I was going to show you. So, come with me. Now, one thing that's always fun is just sprucing up something that you already have around the house, like a fun mirror. So just tape it off and use a can of spray paint, and you got a really cool mirror. And whoa, hey, look at me. Hi. Speaking of decorations, if you feel fancy, you can paint your name on a board just like that. Pickle. That's me. Me and my wife. Or you can take an old window. If somebody gives you an old window, you can put some paint on it and spruce it up with these little twigs. You can get twigs from outside. We got these from Home Depot or Hobby Lobby or whichever one of those places sells them. But what I really wanted to show you that I was working on was this little doodad right here. Now this guy right here, he's definitely a DIY in a day, but the caveat is you have to plan. Okay, there's a lot of measuring you have to do, but I can tell you right now, I did like 3.5 by 5.5 little these are just pieces of plywood. It's just one piece of plywood that I cut it into these rectangles, and then I cut the borders, right? The thing that takes the longest is waiting for the glue to dry. Now, if you want to paint, that's going to cut you maybe into a little bit longer because paint takes a little bit longer to dry than you think. So if you're wanting to just churn these out in one day, just cut them and glue them. And then you can pass it along to, say, a relative or a wife or a neighbor to paint and to do whatever they want to with. I mean, it's so customizable. It's basically a blank slate. Now, I have some chalk paint on here, and, that really opens it up. And then, you can put whatever word you like. Basically, so the template I saw, it said gather. You know how ladies like to write gather on things. Just a word, live, laugh, love, if you're into that. Or dance, like nobody's watching. Or go Ducks. I don't know, whatever suits your fancy. So there you have it. There's some DIY in a day. And without further ado, here is the very first ever Don't Knock Out That Wall episode. Boom.
Well, that sucks. That ruined everything.
You sound way better now. That's okay.
Okay, let's start over. Hi, my name is Brandon.
Hi, my name's Matt.
Got to DIY. Oh, baby, you know why. Well, if you got the time, I'm gonna give it a try. to hammer, then you got soul. Baby, please, don't look out that wow. Don't look out that wow. Please do not look out that wow. Really bad idea.
So what else is going on with you?
Right now, I feel like I'm trying to decide what to do next. I for the past couple days, I've been feeling a little like unsure of what, because I feel like I have so many things I can do. I'm like, well, where do I start? And I think that's the ADD that kicks in. It's like, all right, so you don't know where to start, so you don't.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I get that. A whole lot of things going on.
Yeah, we're gonna possibly build a roof for my mother-in-law's shed, which we can talk about that because I'm brainstorming on my ideas. And then
Yes.
Ashley wants me to strip the paint off of a little nightstand she bought. And then, gosh, man, I don't know. There's just I'm kind of waiting for it to get warmer too because I want to finish my deck, which is also something we can talk about. I was looking at your list, and I figured we'd just go start at number 1 and go down.
Yeah, that works. We can kind of do whatever.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Sweet.
Yeah. So this is going to be more of 2 homeowners, right? Little DIY projects that homeowners are going to want to do for them, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, that's what I was thinking. But maybe there also is some woodworking, but DIY specifically,
Yeah. For the guys, right?
Yeah. No ladies allowed.
Golf, right?
Yeah.
Gentlemen only. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, okay, cool. Just to make sure that I'm on point of where it's going.
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you listen to a lot of podcasts?
Yes, I do. I listen to a bunch of them that are either real estate investing. Lately, I've been getting into real estate sales. So that's kind of where my goal is for this year is more as a realtor than flipping houses.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to do that pretty much when I'm driving around. I'll listen to 30-ish minutes here and there.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't know. It's just a bunch of people talking, right? So
yeah, I
as
mean,
long as they're entertaining, it's entertaining,
right? That's what I mean. All the ones I listen to, they're all just conversational. They just sort of bounce around and talk about what's on their mind.
What's next?
Next, we can talk about the title because
The title
or the name.
Yes.
So
what'd you throw out? You threw out to me. It was like wreck the halls was one of them.
Or check your shelf.
Check your shelf. Okay, so wreck the halls seems a little too Christmassy.
Yeah.
Right. I immediately associate that with Christmas.
Yeah, me too. I think anything that to do with the shelf pun is what I was stuck on for some reason because that's one of my. I don't know. I have a very vivid memory of when, and this happens to me a lot, but especially at this moment, Ashley and I were moving in together, decorating, and she had a tiny shelf about this big. And for those of you listening, it's about a cubit. A cubit's length of a shelf. So she was going to decorate the shelf. And then I had a moment where I wanted to make the pun, but then I stopped myself because it was stupid. And for some reason, that makes me laugh even more to think about how not funny it is. and so then I'm gasping for air, just laughing it's so hard. And she doesn't know. I haven't said anything yet. I'm just laughing. And she's like,
You're laughing at yourself. Yeah.
And the funny part was that because we were moving in together and it was a very important moment in our relationship. So I was nervous. There were nerves involved. Right. And so it was just like a release as well. And I laughed for like 20 minutes. And then I told her, you need to take care of yourself. And it wasn't funny.
No, because 30 minutes later, she's already decorated the shelf and moved on to something else.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was so that's why I stuck with that, I guess. So
okay, I like that. Yeah.
Take care of your shelf. Fix your shelf. Check your shelf.
Check your shelf. It needs to be yo though, right? Whoa, check yo.
Yeah, check your shelf.
Check your shelf. I kept going back to something with DIY.
Yeah.
Like DI don't or DI like why question mark, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I like that.
Like the word why. Of course, I went really stupid with it, and I was like, how about two studs talking about studs? Yeah.
One of my first thoughts was something to do with DIY, and I checked because I was thinking we could do something like do it your damn self, DIYD.
Yeah.
But that's already taken.
Oh.
So.
Huh. Maybe we should try to buy it from him. I mean, figure that.
I think he's already got a back catalog, so I don't know.
Okay. Nah.
Yeah.
Studs. There was something else about studs, or what else was I doing? Oh, trying to do like a general DIY tip, but that being the title, like that concept's too open, or that's too beige, right?
Beige.
Yeah. Like, don't knock out that wall or something like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like the common mistake is people want an open concept and they go crazy.
Yeah.
And just open everything up, and then the roof falls. And
I kind of actually like that. Don't knock out that wall.
Maybe that's too long, though.
Yeah.
Keep that wall. Maybe that can be a tagline. I don't know how that works.
Or maybe that's where we'll sign off. This is Brandon and Matt signing off, saying, "Don't knock out that wall."
Don't knock out that wall. I love it. That's a good sign off.
I like that. Let me I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, write that down. And there he goes. Now it's just me, the star of the show, coming to you. Okay, I'm going to be the knowledgeable one, just FYI for all of you out there while he's gone. Okay, and he's back. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, write that down. I forgot what you said.
Sign off.
Sign off.
Don't knock out that wall. Perfect.
I love it.
There it is. Title.
I really like check your shelves.
Yeah.
Check your shelf. What is it? Check Check your stuff.
Check your
Check your shelves. Check. Check your shelves. Was the story one shelf, or was it a whole bookcase of shelves?
Oh, she was decorating. It was just one shelf.
So was the shelves plural in this one? Check your shelves.
Yeah, I think that's actually
Check your
better.
shelves.
Yeah, check your shelves.
Okay, check your shelves.
All right, this is productive.
Yeah,
So
moving forward, I love it. Okay.
this being the first episode, let's start with a little bit of we've already started, but let's begin in the middle with a little introduction, so to speak. So for those that don't know us, let's talk about ourselves.
Love it. Our shelves.
Yes, let's talk about our shelves. So my shelf, I am a shelfish person. I probably going to ride that pun a little too long, but I would say I'm a second generation DIY person because it skipped my dad's generation. As a young child, I used to go and hang out with my grandpa and watch him fix the rent house. And I was like, Grandpa, you need to just go into business, just fixing stuff. Like, this was my, 8-year-old brain. Like, man, you could make some money, dog. He was like, sure. But anyway, I always enjoyed doing that, and just figuring out for myself. And I think the turning point was in my 20s when I went to get my brakes fixed because they were totally shot. And they diagnosed it for me, and they said, okay, it'll be $400. And I was like, is this not something I can do myself? And he's like, yeah, you can do it yourself. And it cost me a quarter of that price. So that was the day I officially became a DIY guy. Mm-hmm. And so now I own a home. We've owned this home for 2.5 years. And I've remodeled the bathroom and done various projects and learned along the way. And I just can't stop wanting to do something to it. I'm always in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is the next project. And some of them are very expensive and probably won't happen for a long time, but I'm always thinking ahead. And I think that's, I guess, where the DIY brain comes into effect. You're always imagining the possibilities and what comes next. So that's me. And go to audio settings.
Oh. Yeah, that's going to be a lot different now.
Aha.
Okay, let's go back to it. Let's see. I'll try to. Oh.
You did start by saying you grew up with a hammer in your hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So my story, I pretty much grew up with a hammer in my hand, right? My dad was very much a DIYer on all accounts. And before I moved out, all the way through high school, we remodeled probably every room in the house 3 or 4 times. We added on a room. We added on a porch. There were quite a few things that we did, and I was always right there next to him trying to help. So I learned a lot growing up about just DIY and that kind of stuff. Real estate's always been pretty exciting to me. I've always liked it, just all parts of it. In 2012, I bought my first investment property.
and it was a duplex. And what I did there was what they call now is house hacking, which I lived in one side of the duplex. I rented the other side out to help cover the mortgage, and I fixed up my side and then moved it out, rented it for, more money, and then turned around and did the other side. That was 2012. I kept that for a while, sold it, took the proceeds to do my first flip. Then back in 2015, I got my real estate license. So I'm currently an Arkansas realtor and flip houses. So I do both of those pretty much full time. On the houses that I flip, I do pretty much all the work myself, just mainly to save money. Of course, it takes too much of my time now. So I will be moving forward to having contractors do more of the work in the future. And let me see here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much my story.
Cool. As we go along, I think I learned this from other podcasts that I listen to. Be writing down things that I want to touch on so we stay on course and we can have more material for later if I want to ask them. Because I feel like if some questions, if I ask now, they'll just blossom into this tangent and then we won't know where to go after.
Yeah, absolutely they will. Because we'll just take one thing and run with it and forget the original question. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's you. That's me. One thing to mention, which is a fun sort of a connection. Brandon and I have known each other for a few years.
Is it? Hang on. It's more than 10.
Yeah. It's because I've been at. We were at Papa John's together for a long time. That's where we met.
Right.
And then cut to Brandon was our realtor when we bought our home.
Yay.
So I liked him enough to seek his advice.
Yeah. And I've even been helping you a little bit with some of your stuff.
Yeah.
What was it? Didn't we demolished your bathroom at one point? I remember that.
Brandon gave me my first drywall lessons.
Yes. I do remember that. Yeah. That was fun times.
We were listening to gangster rap and mudding, and that was that's a good memory.
Last week I was doing drywall work on the current flip that I'm working on. I should have called you over.
Oh yeah,
tested your skills on that.
Yeah, we can talk about that more about how I feel about drywalling now that you've introduced me to it.
Okay. Yeah.
Brandon also helped my we were both part of each other's weddings. I helped walk somebody down the aisle at your wedding.
Yes, you were there to open the big doors.
Yeah.
To let my wife in. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You're actually hanging on our wall in there.
Yeah.
We have a big wedding mural, whatever. I don't even know what you call it, but yeah, you're in it.
I think it's like
absolutely. Yeah. And I remember helping with your wedding. It was cold AF.
Yeah, it was.
And hauling things around for that.
I remember something about because Brandon helped transport some of the chairs from my dad's church to the venue, and I remember something about one of the chairs falling out of your truck on I-40 or 430.
Did I tell you about that?
Yeah.
Did I tell you about that? Okay. I don't remember if I try to keep that a secret.
I think you may have mentioned it to me and
to you in secret. Be like, yeah, don't tell your dad or the church for sure. But yes, I was on the interstate, and 2 of the chairs flew out in the middle of the road.
I think the statute of limitations has passed at this point, so you can't be prosecuted.
Good.
Yeah,
all right, that works. Yeah, but that was fun running around in the middle of the interstate picking up chairs. It's what I do.
Yeah, in your spare time.
In my spare time, if I'm not swinging a hammer or selling houses, I'm,
picking up chairs on the side.
Chairs in the middle of the interstate. You'd be surprised how time consuming that is.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so we go back quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's all I have. I don't really have anything else. We do.
All right. So the first item on the list that I actually wrote down, which I didn't actually write down, but I remember you wrote down, and so I wrote it down in my brain, was storm doors.
Storm doors. Storm doors were a thing back in the day, and you pretty much don't see them anymore unless it's on an old house that hasn't been renovated, right? Because everybody likes a pretty front door. They don't put a storm door in front of it or anything like that. And I don't know, I guess it's cheaper just to not worry about it in the back too.
So what is a storm door?
A storm door is usually all glass, and that is basically a second door that goes on the outside of the house that attaches, kind of attaches to the door frame of so you've got your main front door, and then on the outside of the house, you have a storm door, which is just a second layer, basically, from your door.
So I have that.
Good. They're good. You should I think everybody needs one for the front and the back. It does twofold. I feel it. Most of them it's all glass, but usually you can open up the bottom of it and just have a screen, right? So you can open your main door, leave the storm door closed, and open up that screen. So that leaves air that can circulate. So you have fresh air, in the springtime, fall time.
Yeah.
Doing that. Plus it's an extra barrier to the weather outside. So it stops wind. If your main door has any cracks or anything, that'll stop that. Plus water, which is the root of all evil for houses.
Oh man. Yeah.
It helps keep water, out as well. So it does a lot of good.
Yeah. When I was thinking of a storm door, I thought of a large metal door, but a second layer, like a swinging door that's made of aluminum. I think maybe that's what I'm thinking of was on my grandmother's house. It was just the first door, and it had, I guess, a screen, and then the rest was aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, those type. Yep. That's exactly how they were back in the day. Yeah.
I can remember how it sounded too.
It squeaked, right?
Yeah, but specifically the sound of it closing when you knew somebody had left.
Oh, because they slammed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a pretty strong spring on them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they always pow.
Yeah,
that should be part of our song in the beginning.
That house, I don't think is standing anymore, so I have to.
I don't know if you can find those anymore. Actually,
we'll have to scour the internet.
Yeah,
but yeah, that is a nostalgic sound for sure. My Granny Gooden's house in Pecola, Oklahoma.
Absolutely. Well, nowadays they're not that horrible gray aluminum color. Most of them are just nothing but glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of them modern are just plain glass on the front.
So you put them in? Like, is it a thing that you do when you flip a house? Do you add things like that?
Nope.
People don't.
I don't. I recommend it, but I don't put them in.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you why, because that's not the style now. Yeah. I mean,
be a la mode.
Yeah, flipping houses, you've got to one, try to cut costs, right? And that's just kind of an extra cost.
Right.
And two, it's just not what people want. People don't do that anymore. So they see a storm door and they think the old aluminum from their grandmas that.
I could just isolate you making that sound. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Storm door take 3.
Yeah. Somebody let the cat out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I like our doors though, and one reason is because, and as we go along, I'll talk about the weird things that I've found in my house. I'm sure that you found weird things in houses that you're flipping, but
yeah.
And actually, that's another question. I'll get back to this, but so taking apart things, breaking down walls, you find weird stuff inside of walls. I found a piece of wire that didn't go to anything in the middle of the drywall. I think now that I think about it, it was actually because the house is older, the studs are uneven, so they just had a piece of like 14-2 wire that was just in between the drywall and the stud, I guess, to even it out.
Oh, like a spacer.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, but the front door of my house is a deadbolt, or it has a deadbolt, and there's not a knob on the inside. There's just a key on both sides, and I don't feel like having that key with me all the time. So now that I have the storm door, it's an extra layer of protection, and I can lock that and then lock the main door.
So that brings up something. Your front door that has a key on both sides of the deadbolt, is there glass close to that deadbolt? Like on the door?
No.
Or is your front door completely wooden?
It's all wood.
Okay. So that's not needed. The key on both sides is a good thing to have if you have glass on your door. That way somebody can't break the glass, reach in, and flip that deadbolt. They'll need a key to do that.
Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, it's solid wood.
Yeah, well, that's just ridiculous. That's annoying right there is what that is.
It is. Yeah. It is very annoying. Yeah. Item number 1 on annoying things in my house.
There you go. Write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the things that you find, the house that I'm working on now, they've built onto it. They've added multiple rooms to make it quite a bit larger.
Uh-huh.
And when they added on about 10 feet on the front of it, on the front of the house, and then they added a whole room to the back of the house. So they had to change the roof pitch, right, to make a whole new roof. Well, they just added the whole new roof on top of the old roof. So when you go into the attic, there's a space where the old roof is, and then they luckily have cut a hole in it, and you can climb through there, and you're stepping on, like, it still has the shingles and everything of the old roof, but you're still underneath the new roof. I've never seen that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess they saved on labor.
Yeah, I guess like you don't have to tear down a roof to add a new, like, I don't know. I mean, it's the big roof. It's got a high pitch and some dormers and everything. It's pretty, but it's just odd that the old roof is still in the attic.
Yeah.
The electrician did not like it because he was adding, new lights and running some wires in there.
Mm-hmm.
And like in the middle of the front living room, if you put a hole in it, it goes to the eave of the old house and you can't do anything with it. And he's like, well, this doesn't work. I can't do this. It's interesting.
So, the house you live in now, you guys have lived there how long?
14 months, so a little over a year. Yeah, it's kind of weird because the whole we rented for a long time and tried to save up, and both of our dreams were to have a really old house and just completely take it down to the studs and rebuild it, and she even has like a old clawfoot tub from her grandmother's that she saved for forever to put in this house, in this dream house that we were planning on.
Yeah.
And just randomly found a neighborhood outside of town that were building new houses that were pretty nice. And we were like, yeah, all right, let's just build a new house then. So complete 180. So that helps me focus more on flips and doing the work there than having to do a lot of DIY projects here. But trust me, I've got a list of things that I want to do to this house to make it better. So,
yeah. So that's kind of my question. Like even though you moved into a house that's pretty much brand new, are there weird things that you run into? Like, oh, why was it done like that? Or is it like, do you have strange things like that where you don't necessarily agree with the way it was done? Or, I guess you guys were there for most of it.
Yeah, we were there from the beginning. So we were able to know what they were doing and kind of see everything. There were a couple of upgrades that we didn't do that I wish we did. One of the things actually we ran into recently was the way that they framed out our roof. Back to roofs again. They framed it out in a way to where you cannot get into the attic space above our master bathroom. Like if you wanted to go into the attic and for any reason do anything in the attic above our master bathroom, you cannot get to it with the way that they framed it out.
Oh.
The roof itself. Yeah. So I don't know if the pitch of the roof isn't right or what they did, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would there be anything you needed to work on there? Is there I'm assuming there's an exhaust fan and things like that.
Yeah, there's an exhaust fan, plumbing. There's like a rain head shower in the shower itself. Can lights. Most of that stuff can probably be replaced and taken care of inside the house.
Yeah.
But if there's like a roof leak, right? If there's damage to the roof or a shingle and there's a leak in there, you can't get to the insulation to replace it out or anything like that.
Whoa.
Unless you either take off the roof or take down the drywall ceiling. So, yeah, it's even in a brand new house. It's kind of odd.
That is really weird. Well, maybe that's something we can discuss at a later date, to any sort of brainstorming how you would go about fixing something like that.
How you would fix that? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
redo the roof.
In my head, I'm just picturing like a removable roof. So you got a hatch in the roof.
Yeah.
Why does your roof have hinges on it?
You never know. Does yours not?
Well,
that's fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, that sounds good to me. That was the main thing, was the storm doors, and we covered that.
Yeah. And those are pretty easy. You can add those to any house after the fact. Like, you don't have to take out your main front door or replace a front door or anything like that. Like, they come specific to where you just screw them to the outside of your door surround.
Yeah.
And as long as around your door is pretty square and has room for it, it should be an easy install on pretty much any house. Should be anyway.
Here's a question. So whenever over time things settle, I don't know how long these storm doors have been here. If what you say is the case where it's not really into fashion anymore, then they're probably maybe as old as the house, maybe, I don't know. But when things settle, door frames get warped and things like that. I noticed there's a bit of a gap in between where the door closes and the frame itself for the storm door. For storm door specifically, how would you go about fixing something like that? Or can you? Would that be something?
Yeah, absolutely you can. Without looking at it, I'm not really sure. It might be a thing where you would have to actually take it off and then re it back more plumb. Usually when you adjust doors, it's with the hinges itself.
Okay.
So especially like interior and most of your main exterior doors, if there's a gap, you can just kind of play with the hinge and the spacing of the hinge itself. Usually you can just kind of tighten screws or loosen screws, just half a little clockwise motion on a couple of screws and it'd do enough adjusting. So if it's a small gap, something like that could work for a storm door.
Cool.
Just messing with the hinges itself. If it's a big gap, you're probably looking at taking it completely off and probably making repairs to whatever has adjusted or cracked behind it because of the foundation issues and then reinstalling it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little foundation or little what are they called? Settling. So yeah. Just a little bit of settling in a house can do a lot to the doors. Yeah. Doors and windows, that's kind of your first what goes first when things settle. And they actually make door doctor, like a door doctor and a window doctor is a thing. Like there are people that specifically are like contractors that go out and that's all they do is adjust doors and windows.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Right. I don't know if you actually search for a door doctor or I don't know how you find these guys.
In the yellow pages under doctor or door?
Yeah, is it door or doctor or contractor? Or maybe if you have a local doctor that you go to anyway, you can just be like, "Hey, do you do doors, or is it just broken bones?"
Yeah. We could start, talking about, your foundation issues. Like, where do you think you are? We're talking about your pancreas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. I'm going to the chiropractor next week. I'll talk to him.
I'm picturing the door doctor showing up with like a stethoscope, Oh, sorry, this is for my other job.
Doctors have a lot of debt, so
yeah,
got to make that money when they can.
Well, this has been great. Let's talk about the theme music. I think I want to use sound effects, but I may not stick with what I had. But what do you because so I don't know if I explained it. So I just went around and used my phone to record myself using tools. I had a rubber mallet and a ratchet and my impact drill. I thought about doing some others, like a table saw or different things, or just an actual sound of a saw, because I have various saws I can use. So
I like that. And I don't know if we can get enough to where it makes a whole song with that, but maybe we could add those to like some kind of music in the background that doesn't have a lot going on.
Yeah, that's one thing I was toying with today, is sort of, because I mean, anything I do online, I usually make the music for, so I can tool around with just a basic melody and then put some of those sound effects in the background as like an accent,
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I'll do.
I like that idea. I mean, it's DIY. It really reminds me of Home Improvement, the TV show. Like, it
Classic.
really does. Yeah. Which is perfect, right? Yeah.
Very on brand.
Yes. Okay, that sounds good. And I'll try to remember here this week when I'm over at the Flip using tools, I'll try to take some audio of those as well.
Yeah. Send them to me. I'll just drop them in here and there. That's going to turn out good.
Cool. Tons of it. Okay. So what do we have in the future for the podcast? Like, what can our listeners expect in the future coming from us?
Well, in the future, like I said, the possibilities for DIY to me are endless, because the DIY brain is always imagining what's next. So I envision us talking about our ongoing projects, which I have a few going on. I have a deck that I'm sanding and rebuilding. We can talk about that. I have a coffee table that I need to build, because we just have a cedar chest in the living room that we use as a coffee table, and it's not meant to be that. Here and there, we just replaced our windows, which I'm pretty excited about that.
I meant to ask you about the windows. How are you liking those so far?
Oh man, I can't stop fiddling with them. Because you can open them from the bottom and the top.
And the top.
Yeah. That's the first time
and
I ever had
both they swing out. You can open them and they swing. You can completely take both of them, both parts out of it. Those windows are crazy.
Yesterday, I cleaned them for the first time, and it was heaven.
Yeah. It's because it's so easy to do. You don't have to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm tall, but I'm not 12 feet tall.
Right.
The other, I was telling the guy too, the other windows that we had, I couldn't figure out how to get the screen off. It looked like it was just there were double pane windows. They had they were like Pepperidge Farm bread. You had to open the outside and then open another window on the inside to open the window.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, how do you get the screen out? Because there were places behind that screen and on the outside of the window that I couldn't get to clean. So there was just like a streak of dried bird poop who'd been there for I don't know how long and wouldn't come off with a hose.
Right.
And so I was like, well, we're just going to have to replace this window.
Yeah. That's what you do. You see bird poop on a screen, and then you just replace all of your windows.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah, I mean, if
that's a window tip. That can be a tip for our window episode.
Yeah, it'll be a very short episode.
Yeah. When do you know when to replace your windows?
When it's dirty.
When it's dirty. See you next time.
Yep. But also, you had that list, which is a good starting point, and we can add to just general tips.
Mhm.
The first one was the storm door, which I mean, that was informative. I didn't know. So you know more about what's in style too, which is, not something I deal with as much in this house because, well, as an example, I removed popcorn ceiling when I moved in, which
Horrible.
style shouldn't be. It's the bane of existence.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Which there's a lot to talk. So that's an episode, right? How to remove popcorn ceilings, because that's nobody should have those in their house for many reasons. So,
Yeah. It's just I'll have to drink for that episode. There's going to be a lot of like flashbacks and PTSD that I'll be going through.
I'll have Lizzie on for that episode. She can help you.
Yeah.
Right? She's for those who don't know, she's a therapist. Does trauma, PTSD, or that. So she could probably give you some breathing tips while we're doing the episode.
We could also have other people on that. My brother, as I said, I consider myself second generation because my dad is not a DIY person unless he has to.
Right.
Like he has the skills, but I think just being around it, and for some reason it just skipped him. He's just like, I'd rather pay somebody,
Yeah.
And but my brother is also a homeowner and sort of dipped into the same thing. And so we can have him on to talk about his recent project. Currently, maybe not now, but I'd say currently as of today, there was a large hole in his master bathroom. And today was the day he told me he was having a contractor come over to fix the subfloor and the joists because there was water damage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has a much older house, and so he can tell us about the weird things that he found. That would be fun. So
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't need a contractor for that. That's a good DIY.
yeah, he doesn't need that, but I think he preferred leaving the structural engineering to someone else.
Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes when you deal with flooring and foundation and sure, I guess we can pass on that.
So I watch a particular YouTube channel a lot. It's this Canadian guy. Interestingly enough, a lot of the DIY stuff that I've watched and been inspired by and learned from, Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they do a lot more because, a lot of like the HGTV and DIY network shows are Canadian shows.
Oh yeah, like the property, aren't they Canadian? The
I
brothers.
feel like they are, right? Because there's like the Holmes guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then what is it? I think Love It or Listed is Canadian.
Oh.
I think that's one. And then the I don't even remember his name. There's another guy I'm thinking of that's good. That's Canadian. He has vacation rentals is a thing now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was. I don't know. There must be the hot spot, but this guy's name's Jeff or something. I can share that link for people who want to watch it.
That
later.
sounds like a Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Jeff.
Good old Jeff, man. Yeah.
He was talking about a large project he was doing in his own home, and his recommendation was to have someone else do the floor. He said you can do everything else, but I guess in his expert opinion, the flooring is where you want to leave it to the person with the most experience because it's your floor. And
Right.
so I have to say I agree with that, but I also don't mind getting my hands dirty, and there's probably some things in the future that I'll do floor related myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. That works. Yeah, this week I'm actually replacing a subfloor in one of the flips.
oh yeah,
That's what I was doing yesterday, was tearing up a floor. A common floor back in the day was, it's not really particle board or like an OSB type thing, but it's just a bunch of flakes compressed into a wood. And it was, just kind of cheaper and overall not really heavy. So it was common back in the day, but man, once it gets wet, it just swells up, and if it's any kind of like dry rot or anything, it crumbles. So that was all day yesterday, ripping up a room with that stuff in it. It's horrible.
oh
So if you're doing a subfloor tip, use plywood, like good sturdy plywood. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No particle board or anything like that.
Yeah. I noticed
Anyway.
when there was I think it was particle board that was the underlayment below the floor in that bathroom that I remodeled. And at first I thought that was a bad idea. And I guess, well, I mean, in certain ways it is, because it, like you said, when it gets wet, it sort of disintegrates. But
Yeah.
I didn't realize that particular type of material is common underneath like wood floors and stuff like that. I guess.
Yeah.
It's because it's so cushiony, which, I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, it's also dangerous.
It is. But luckily now, a lot of the flooring or pretty much all of it's waterproof. So that helps. And there's almost always some kind of underlayment that goes under it anyway.
Yeah.
Which that's definitely going to be an episode in itself.
Underlayment or
Flooring.
Yeah, flooring.
Flooring. Yeah.
From the doors to the floors.
There it is.
The windows to the walls.
Window, yeah.
So, yeah. Wait, did you have any questions for me? You just asked about what my ideas are for the podcast. Do you have any?
That's pretty much it. Just kind of, I guess, making sure that that people know what to expect from the podcast, and that we'll get other people coming on and we'll answer questions down the line. And right now it's just a podcast, but it may turn into a podcast video blog thing, or like, there's no telling where it's going to go. It's going to be great.
That's what I like about life.
Yeah. This show in itself is a DIY.
It is. And it is the DIY of the future.
Right. Exactly. Because we have the vision.
Yes.
Right. We know where we wanted to go. This is us getting started.
Yep.
And then we'll find our groove. And then at the end, it'll just.
This is every first episode. So what are we doing here? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are you? What are we doing?
I think we covered everything, right?
Yep.
We know who we are now.
Mm-hmm.
We know what we're going to talk about.
Yep.
We discussed one. So it's one down. Check.
Yep. That is the first annual episode, everybody. For all of you grammar nerds out there, I'm sure you'll enjoy that.
First annual episode?
Yeah, the first annual episode.
Okay. So this is only once a year?
Yeah. So a lot can happen between now and next January.
All right. See you 2022.
So yeah, I don't know if there needs to be a disclaimer, but this is this is a podcast, and so if you came to listen to music, you're in the wrong place. So I'm just letting you know. There won't be any music except for the beginning. So this is not an extra large commercial. If you need music, you have just turn on the radio. I don't know if you have a radio. But if you have questions about a project, you can email us if you have an email address. And what would that email address be, Brandon? I'm just practicing. I don't know what it would be, but
I was about to say, do we have an email address for the podcast that we have?
We can make one. We'll make one. The funny thing about it's like I'm talking to people right now, but there's no one listening. So
right.
I don't have to be like, oh, what's the email address? Hurry.
That's kind of I'm going to have to get used to that, like acting like I'm talking to a bunch of people. Yeah. I just see you. Yeah. It's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do people usually get in touch with podcasters?
They usually just have a Gmail. Like most of even the big ones I know, just like podcast name at Gmail.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That works. Of course, I don't know the personal plug. You can find me on Instagram, bwiggins57. YouTube, Agent Wiggins, Realtor. Wiggins, Wiggins, not Williams. Don't get it wrong. Happens all the time.
Does that guy get tired of people reaching out to him thinking it's you?
Yeah. AJ, I don't know.
For me, I am on the Twitter occasionally at superpickle1582, Instagram, same name, and we'll be working on YouTube content in the same vein. But if you're looking for fun videos about anything DIY or other related, you can go to Pickled Tube on YouTube. Yep.
Nice.
That's where I just show all the things that I do with my wife. Not all the things, but things that I do with my wife. And various projects that I work with Brandon and working on the bathroom and stuff. And so, yeah. But thanks for tuning in. And this is Brandon and Matt signing off saying,
do we need to combo that what is it? Don't knock down that wall?
Yeah, that's our tagline. We can say it together.
I need to write that down.
Okay. Oh, wait, no. What I wrote from our initial conversation was don't knock out that wall.
Okay. Don't knock out that wall.
This is the fun part that because there are obviously phasing issues working on the internet. So I can say it and you can say it, and then I can cut it to where we say it together in post.
Okay. I love it. Yeah, that works. This has been over an hour. What is this episode going to be? When I feel like you're going to have a long time editing this thing. It's going to be like 5 minutes when it's all said and done. Cool. So say that again. Don't knock out that wall. Don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it like a chant.
Yeah.
Don't knock out that wall. Or should I say it differently? Or don't knock out that wall. Or should it be? How do you think? Or just one.
I don't know. It should be scary. Like, don't knock out that wall.
Yeah, I like that. Don't knock out that wall.
Okay, see if you can add that. Yeah,
that'd be perfect.
If not, we can go back to the first one where you're like signing off. Don't knock out that wall.
Don't knock out that wall.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
I'll
figure
try
it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another
Okay.
one of my favorite podcasts. I haven't listened to it in a while, but they've been doing it for a few years, and it's called Star Wars Minute. And they talk about the Star Wars movies minute by minute. And it started as a joke. Yeah, it started as a joke in their first episode. They're like, "See you next time on Star Wars Minute." Like, and they were supposed to say it together, but they messed it up, and so they never said it together the whole time. But I mean, that's funnier too to me because back then they were in the same room.
Right. They're like 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah.
What?
On 3 or after 3? I don't.
Yeah, exactly. So 1, 2, 3, go, or that reminds me of exactly. What is it? Bitters, the Angostura bitters, the drink that you put like in the whiskeys.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
I know the bitters. I don't know the brand name.
The bitters. Okay, there's one. I think it's called like Angostura or something like that. Anyway, there was a competition back in the day. I don't know if you've noticed that the wrapping of it is weird, like the paper on it that says what it is. It's like a big sticker that goes around the bottle.
Oh, okay.
And it's a little bottle, right? It's only like that big or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, these two brothers went into competition with each other, and one of them was to get the bottle, and the other guy's job was to do the label. And they didn't talk to each other. So the one guy got a smaller bottle than the other guy had the label. So by the time they were ready to combine them, they put the label on the bottle, and the label itself was like way too big, but it was too close to the competition to do anything.
Yeah.
And they won. And so they just kept it the same. So if you ever see that, like the label, it like crumples up at the very top because it's way too big for the bottle. Fun fact.
I like that. That is a fun fact. I'm going to go look at the bitters I have right now and see if that's the one I have.
Yeah, go check that out.
Nope. This is a appropriately sized label for.
Okay. I went and got mine. So here's
Oh, yeah.
that. You see it, it's like that.
I have
Big
seen
for it.
that.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Huh.
I mean, yeah, I'm 100% in that camp. I'm like, if you mess it up the first time, but it works, then don't change it.
If it works, it works. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I like it. I think I had fun.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well,
Okay, so we'll be in touch over the weekend, and yeah, just let me know if I need anything, if I need to do anything for this one in the meantime.
Yeah, if you happen to be around Power Tools and you want to grab some sound effects and send them my way, then that'd be cool.
Yep. I will do that.
Cool.
All right.
Don't knock out that. I don't know. I think maybe we're already done. I didn't have to do that, but
Okay. Just whatever. It's fun. It's
all right.
fun.
This was a success. Thank you.
I like it. Thank you.